Hello dear students, I am Shubhda Chamoli, TGT Science from KV number 1 Roorkee. Today we are going to start chapter number 4, Heat of class 7th. So dear students, have you ever thought that during summers it is warm outside and even when we come inside our home we feel very hot? While in winters it is very cold outside, and to prevent our body from cold temperature we wear woolen clothes. So why do we do so? So this is an example of our daily life in which we come across heat. So what is heat? Heat is a form of energy which determines the hotness of any object. An object can be hot or it can be cold. So heat can be classified into heat and cold, hot and cold. So objects which are having high heat content, they are termed to be hot objects, and their example can be sun, molten iron, or the tea which we drink, the hot milk which we drink. And the objects which have low content of heat, they are termed to be cold objects. The examples can be very well ice, snow, the moon, even the ice cream which we take during the summers. So in our daily life we come across number of objects. Some of them are hot and some of them are cold. Some objects are hotter than the other and some are colder than the others. Now how do we decide that whether an object is hot or it is cold? We decide it by touching the object. But always it does not happen. This does not come true always. We cannot rely on our sense of touch to decide how hotness and how cold an object is. So in order to decide whether an object is hot or cold, the measure of hotness is to be taken. This measure of hotness is taken by its temperature. So what is temperature? Temperature is a measure of degree of hotness of an object. And how do we measure it? We measure it with the help of a device known as thermometer. So here you can see the figure of clinical thermometer, which whenever we visit our family doctors or any doctor, they take our body temperature with the help of this thermometer. Even in our homes also we have clinical thermometer to measure our body temperature in case we are having fever. Next category of these thermometers is digital thermometers, which are used by the doctors and even in our homes. They are run by batteries. Now, how to measure the temperature? How we can use these thermometers? How we can measure the temperature using these thermometers? So, the thermometer that measures the temperature of our body is termed to be the clinical thermometer. Now here in this figure you can see the clinical thermometer. So how is its structure? A clinical thermometer has a long narrow glass tube. As you can see over here, this is the long narrow glass tube. At one end it is having bulb. It has a bulb at one end containing mercury, and this bulb contains mercury. Then later the long glass tube part of the thermometer, it contains a Celsius scale. As you can see here, 35, 36, 37 marking is done. This is the Celsius scale and it is marked in degrees Celsius. Now the clinical thermometer measures the temperature between 35 degree centigrade to 42 degree centigrade. So the range of temperature which is measured by a clinical thermometer is between 35 degree centigrade to 42 degree centigrade. Now this clinical thermometer has a small kink near the bulb to prevent the mercury level from falling down. Here is the kink constriction which prevents the mercury level to fall down in case of the clinical thermometer. In case of us, the human beings, our normal body temperature is 37 degrees centigrade. Now let us see how to take a reading in the clinical thermometer. First of all, what has to be done is we have to wash the thermometer with a slight antiseptic solution, means it should be dilute antiseptic solution. Then hold it firmly and give it few jerks, so that, why we give the jerks? So that the level of the mercury should come below 35 degrees centigrade. Then as it is shown in the figure, or you must have observed it while visiting the doctor takes the thermometer and keeps the bulb of the thermometer under your tongue. He asks you to open your mouth and then keeps the thermometer below your tongue. Then the doctor waits for 1 minute and then later he takes out the thermometer and notes its reading. So the point up to which the mercury level goes in the thermometer, that is your body reading, body temperature reading. Next category of thermometer is laboratory thermometer. So a laboratory thermometer, in comparison to the thermometers which we use at home or clinical thermometer, they have a long narrow glass tube. As you can see in the figure, they are very long. Again, it also has a bulb at one end and this bulb contains mercury, as you can see in this figure. Here also the scale is marked in degrees Celsius, but the range of laboratory thermometer is wide, means it can take the temperatures between -10 degrees centigrade to 110 degrees centigrade. Okay. Now how we can use the temperature with a laboratory thermometer? Right now in few earlier slides we saw that how clinical thermometer is used to measure the temperature. Now we have to see how laboratory thermometer is used for measuring the temperature. So first of all, let us read. Take some tap water in the beaker. Like in this beaker, a tap water is taken. Dip the thermometer in the water so that the bulb of the thermometer does not touch the bottom or the sides of the beaker. See how this thermometer is held in water. The bulb is neither touching the bottom of the beaker nor the bulb is touching the sides of the beaker. So we have to hold the thermometer vertically. Now as this whole setup is allowed to heat up, what happens? The mercury level rises in the thermometer. So till when we have to wait? We have to wait till the level of mercury becomes stable, becomes steady. And at that point of time, you have to note down the level of the mercury, and this will be the temperature of the water. Okay? So this is the whole setup when we are heating that particular beaker. When we are heating the beaker, in the normal condition also, if you want to measure the temperature of the water at room temperature, you can do the same process without heating up the beaker. Now there are certain modes of transfer of heat. Means, as we all know that heat flows from a body at a higher temperature to a body at lower temperature, and this flow of heat from the region of higher temperature to the region of lower temperature, this is termed to be as transfer of heat. Okay. Now this transfer of heat is carried out in three different ways. They are conduction, convection and radiation. So as you can see in this figure, one part is hot, one part is cold. So the hot part in this figure, this shows that the temperature is higher at this end, and the cold part shows that the temperature is lower at this end. So what will happen? The heat will flow from hot towards the cold, and this heat flow can be carried out by conduction, convection and radiation. So let us now study about them one by one and see what happens. Now first is conduction. Conduction is the process by which heat is transferred in solids from the hotter end to the colder end. So now what is happening over here? In conduction, heat is transferred in the solids. Now if you are holding a iron or aluminium rod, this is the activity which demonstrates conduction. Suppose you are holding an aluminium rod, okay, and then you place certain wax pieces, okay, on this rod. You place certain wax pieces at equal distances on this rod and you clamp this rod to the stand. So now, and then we will start heating the rod from one end. See, you can see here one rod is taken, iron rod is taken, it is clamped to the stand, and then certain wax pieces are placed at equal distances. Now at the end of the rod we have placed a Bunsen burner. We have started heating the rod. Now what will happen? These wax pieces will start melting, okay, and then they will fall down, and they will first of all start falling down from the end which is near to the Bunsen burner. This shows that the heat is transferred from the hotter end to the colder end. So first of all, the wax piece which is nearest to the hottest part, it will get melt, and then later slowly by slowly other wax pieces will start melting as the heat moves from the hotter side towards the colder side. So this is an activity which demonstrates the process of conduction. Now comes conductors and insulators. So now, what are conductors and insulators? The materials which we are having around us, they are categorized into two categories. So the materials which allow the heat to pass through them, they are termed to be as conductor, like iron, aluminium, copper. And there are certain materials which do not allow heat to pass through them easily. The category is wood, plastic, glass, rubber, air and water, etc. So here in these figures you can see easily certain examples are there, like cast iron, aluminium, brass, bronze, metal sludge, steel, copper. These all are the examples of conductors. And here towards the right side, the examples which you can see, the rubber gloves, the glass, the plastic container, the wood, they all are the example of insulators. Now comes convection. What is convection? Convection is the process by which heat is transferred in liquids and gases from the hotter part to the colder part. One thing which should be remembered is that heat always transfers from the higher temperature towards the lower temperature, that is from the hotter part to the colder part. So in case of the solids, what is happening? Conduction is the process which is taking place, while in case of the liquids and gases, the heat transfer is taking place by the process of convection. Now the activity. Let's see what happens in the activity. Take some water in the round bottom flask. Here we have taken some water in the round bottom flask. Keep it on a tripod stand. One stand is taken, tripod stand is taken. put a crystal of potassium permanganate in it, and 1 crystal of potassium permanganate is dropped in this round bottom flask. Now we have started heating it with the help of a burner. Now first of all, what will happen whenever the burner will blow up and it will start heating the object? What will happen? First of all, the water at the bottom will become hot and it will start rising up, as you can see in the figure. With the help of the arrows it is shown. And then this cold water which is at the upper side, it will start moving down. This water will become hot, rise up, and cold water from the top moves down, and this whole process continues until all the water gets heated up. This shows that heat is transferred by convection. This whole process is known as convection. As you can see here also in this figure, a pan is taken, water is taken in this, and from below some heat is transferred. What happened? Hot water is at the bottom, it rises up, water is cool at the top, it moves down. So cooler water sinks and hot water rises, and this cycle continues until and unless whole of the water becomes hot. So this process of transferring heat from the hotter part to the colder part in the case of liquids is termed to be as convection. So my dear students, we will stop over here. Thank you very much.